Hey beautiful people, my name's Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today's video is about getting ready for the next Rick McDonald YouTube book spin. This is where we take 20 books for whatever we want to categorize them at. He spins the wheel, and whichever two are chosen by the wheel, we commit to read those within the next couple months. So for this next one, have decided to pick 20 books. They are almost all books that were purchased at the Dollar Tree, or because I only had like 16 of those, there's like 4 that came from book subscription boxes. So I bought like a box that was based on thriller or romance or whatever, but I didn't pick the book. It was a surprise mystery book. So those are the 20 books. I will do a little scan of them and then I will give a brief description. My plan is that whichever 2 are picked, I will definitely be reading those, but the other 18 I am going to begin a try a chapter vlog, and it will probably be broken into 3 videos of 6, but it may be 2 videos of 9 depending on what I have to say about these and how that goes and plays out. So we will give it a go. Let me show you an overview summary and then we will talk about the books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and book 20. So just a little bit about what I know about each of these. If you are interested in maybe rooting for one or curious about what they are, this one, Empire of Time, this was a Dollar Tree purchase that is about, I think it's futuristic, although I think it's still Earth, and there's the controlling government at the time has a weapon that can alter time, and so they keep people living in fear by threatening the use of time. But somebody who's in charge like finds in the history books his name from a different time, if you will, so he knew that somewhere along the line it had been used and things had gone askew. And I love that kind of alter reality time travel, so I picked that one up. Then this one was actually from a book subscription, Mercy House. This has something to do with a nunnery that is protecting, I think, abused women, but I think maybe refugees, some kind of person who needs help in refugee, but the nuns themselves are breaking the rules or being at least outside of what they're supposed to do. Maybe not the American, or I don't think this is set in America. Does it say where this is set? Yeah, it is, Brooklyn. So not the US laws, but they're breaking their Catholic laws. So we'll see. I like rebellious nuns. That sounds fun. This Papillion is based off, I think, of a true story, and I know a lot of people have seen the movie or read the book and said it's really, really good. I got this from a book subscription, and it is a prisoner who is wrongfully imprisoned for a crime, and then it's a story of escaping prison. And I'm not sure how much is set outside of the escape, because I'm assuming he escaped successfully, but those stories are kind of fun, especially if you can really root for the person because they're innocent, trying to get out of an unjust system. Dark August, this book, the girl's named Gus, I think. Yeah, Gus. And she is, it's something about a family drama. She's going home and she finds her grandmother's belongings or some inheritance that she comes across that kind of opens up a cold case. And so she's basically opens up something of the past, one of those small town, opens up a past mystery, puts her nose into it, so she gets in danger and has to have closure for her family, kind of thing. Familiar plot, but I can't remember if that was Dollar Tree. This one did come from a blind date with a book that was sent to me, The Clouds Roll Away. FBI office forensic person expects a warm welcome in Virginia, but there's a burning cross, and it's a thriller trying to bring some kind of justice or something or other. I don't know if it's my jam, but it was a blind date. Not all blind dates are good. This was a Dollar Tree. This, I remember, is a soldier in World War I in Berlin, Berlin World War I soldier account. I don't think it's based on a true story, but it's at least historical fiction. This Catch and Kill, this is a nonfiction, I believe. It says winner of Pulitzer Prize. 2017 network television investigation. One of Hollywood's most powerful producers, predator protected by fear, wealth, and conspiracy of silence. Abuse, getting away with corruption, trying to expose that. Okay. This is a memoir, The Long Run, about a girl who tragically loses her parents, but she's training for a marathon, so it's her account of kind of going through her grieving process with running. That's something that I also did. I ran the only marathon that I've run after a divorce, so I thought I might resonate with that one. Those are all Dollar Tree. This is Dollar Tree. I think all the rest are Dollar Tree. This is a collection of nonfiction essays. Look Alive out there. It just sounded kind of clever, and I thought if I was looking for something short and just wanted to read one thing before I fell asleep kind of thing, maybe I would pick this up. And I like the cover for $1, so I got it, but it could be easy to unhaul too. The Wild Vine, I'm pretty excited about this one. It is a nonfiction about a particular grape, if I'm not mistaken, for the forgotten grape. So it's talking about the Norton grapes and how they are processed into gold medal wines. So I thought that might be fun and might encourage you or inspire you to have some vino, right? This is interesting. It was a Dollar Tree, The Fact of a Body. This one is actually listed as a nonfiction memoir. It is a girl who is doing some private investigating, but then she discovers that a gentleman who's in the crime that she's investigating and trying to help solve is somebody that she knew from her childhood. And so by exploring the investigation, she uncovers a bunch of things that she personally knew or experienced or saw or witnessed that happened many, many years ago. So I'm not quite sure how that's not a conflict of interest or that wouldn't get shut down. But anyway, that's the idea of that book. This is somewhat similar, but it's fiction. It's a complete fiction. There's a woman who is doing psychiatry, I think, in a prison, and the person she's assigned to ends up being a long ex-boyfriend kind of thing, and there's a bunch of, psychological kind of closure and stuff and wrestling, and it's supposed to be spooky and gripping. The Golden Hour, this I think was actually in a book subscription. I don't think I picked this. Maybe I picked it at the Dollar Tree. I don't know where it came from. It's been sitting around for a long time. It is 1940s, I believe. Yes, 41 in the Bahamas. And it's basically someone who goes and does like a high society profile write-up. But it sounds like maybe, I don't think there's a murder, but I think there's foul play uncovered or a lot of, there's some thriller-esque trying to wrestle with this high society of the Bahamas, which that sounded kind of fun. I kind of got this Hemingway kind of vibe from reading the flap. This, The Day She Disappeared. This is a Dollar Tree find about I think when I read it, it sounded like something that was common. Quiet village, English country, missing woman, hazy memories, accidents, amnesia, putting together the account of a missing person, basically, in a small town with amnesia and flashbacks and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes you pay $1 and you think, I'm just going to give it a go. Picture Me Gone. This one actually sounded really, really interesting. It was like a social media? She travels, how does she know him? Her father's best friend. So she has she's like an empath, or has even a little mystical ability to see pictures or to experience objects and kind of get ideas, or just emphatically know who the person is by what's around them, or the auras and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, she's looking at her father's best friend, and it turns crazy, and it sounds pretty good. It sounds interesting. Like, this is a little different. I kind of like the special gift challenge in that. This one is probably the one that if I could say I don't want this number, I think this is number 16, After Room, and it's because it's the third in a trilogy. So I'm hoping this is a triad chapter. It is very much fantasy, very much I think there's a magic system. 1955, there's a couple trying to live a normal life in America, but there's a nuclear disaster looming, and then there's something about magic. Maybe not. I thought this had something to do with magic, but maybe it's not. This one, don't believe it. This sounded, so I have to confess, I've watched a couple of those shows that are live trials, like crime trials that are high profile, where like serial killing happened or that kind of thing, and you're trying to go through the trial and see if the person's guilty or not. So this is a woman on trial who has grotesquely, supposedly murdered a boyfriend, and it's like, kind of creepy, sexy, crazy, one of those train wrecks kind of things. But I don't know if it's her attorney or her counselor or somebody advocating for her ends up thinking she's innocent, but there's all this evidence and weirdness that's unexplained. So I don't know. I think that could be good. It could be really boring too. This one is my kind of romance. I don't do a whole lot of romance, but this one is a romance. Every time you go away, in the sense that it's mostly a flashback. So there was a happy married couple. The husband has passed away, and the woman goes back to the beach where they spent their vacations, or something was meaningful about it, and he's like there as a ghost, and they're kind of reliving or closuring or that kind of thing. So it sounded, when I was reading it, like the movie Ghost kind of thing, like, the presence coming back to give closure and comforting. And I thought maybe that would be a good February or romance kind of read. This one, I almost didn't get this one, but it was $1. The Night Stages, I can't remember now, Ireland in the 1940s. So it's something about a woman who's from the States, I think. She's in Ireland, and she's married, she's trying to wrap up her assignment and get home, but then there's something that holds her there, and there's some mystery or drama that's unraveling. So I don't know. Finally, Madness is Better Than Defeat. This is supposed to be a comedy, which it's always kind of on the fence, borderline, if I've got a different humor than a lot of people. So this is basically set in Peru. There is a company that's trying to do a film, like a big movie production, and then there's another company that's trying to excavate and study the ruins, if you will, and they're conflicting. They're like in each other's way in space, and they're fighting over who's going to do what kind of thing, but it's supposed to be really kind of campy and humorous. So there's that. So there's several of these that I think have real potential to get off my TBR and be unhauled, but there's some potential there that they could be really, really good books. So what are you rooting for me to be the ones that I'm kind of forced to read through? And which ones are you curious as to my try the chapter? And by chapter, I really mean about at least 20 pages, probably 30 pages, somewhere in that range, because I want to give them a fair shake and then decide, is this something I'm going to keep or is it something I'm going to unhaul? So we will wait for the spin, see which two get saved from possible purging, and then we will begin our triad chapters. Thank you so much for stopping by. As always, I appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Take care. Happy reading.